Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Horror Business. This is going to be another documentary about a bunch of Z-grade budget directors who may or may not be in the horror business at any given time. A couple of guys look like the director of 16 Tongues, if you know what I mean. They got the scraggly hair and the beard going on. So there's that. And yeah, kind of turned me off in the beginning when the director of this documentary film, I held up a Che Guevara book, encouraging people to read it. And it's like, okay, here's a false analogy of some independent filmmaker trying to make a quick buck, hustling some kind of a prurient movie that appeals to the prurient interest, that kind of thing. And how does that relate to a communist thug who eliminated his opponents in front of a firing squad? I don't get the analogy there. Sorry. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents worth nothing after inflation. So that kind of turned me off right off the bat. One of the directors has a crucifix made out of dollar bills with a skeleton on it. Don't know what the hell his trying to prove with that thing. But his movie Catharsis actually looked a little bit interesting. Had the kind of the art house look to it, and then it's got the exploitation shock scene, which would look pretty cool. And the dark gothic imagery kind of appealed to me a little bit, I have to admit. Another guy is just a total potty mouth metal dude. I won't say the other D word, but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that he teamed up with another guy to do a Lazardian conspiracy thing where, you know, all the politicians are this alien race of Lazardian shapeshifters. That was pretty cool. And I liked how one of the long hair, scraggly, bearded dude with the glasses, he looks kind of nerdy. Like he looks like a metal version of Napoleon Dynamite. He's making a lesbian vampire flick, I guess. And his first one in 6 years after Coven. The other metal dude is a good promoter of his movies. I mean, he sold 30,000 copies according to this film, which is pretty impressive for somebody of his caliber. I mean, at least he's making money at it and he's enjoying what he's doing, I guess. It's better than being a manager at a sandwich shop, which was what he was doing before. That's how he met his girlfriend. Anyways, kind of interesting. And the other metal dude, the Napoleon Dynamite with long hair, he keeps saying that, you know, 6 billion people, everyone is unique. That was kind of intriguing, refreshing to hear. But the rest of the movie kind of sucked. I mean, one of the names of the film is Eat the Rich. Oh, how original. Steal a song from Motorhead. Anyways, that didn't look too appealing. The only movies that really interested me were the Lazardian conspiracy flick and the Catharsis movie. That looked pretty good. It was kind of amusing that the director of Catharsis, he said his parents used to take him to the drive-in every Friday night, and dang, I wish I had parents like that. Anyways, so that's how he got hooked, and much to his chagrin, there's a Babies R Us where the drive-in used to be. That was pretty amusing to see him all mad that there's no more drive-in, just the Babies R Us there. So that was pretty cool. The rest of the movie is just kind of prancing around with a bunch of directors that I never heard of. There's about a 5-minute segment where they bump into Sid Haig at a horror convention, and then I guess they do the same thing with Joe Bob Briggs at a book signing. You get to see a little bit of Herschell Gordon-Lewis talking about how Hollywood movies are all about self-promotion and not really ego and self-promotion, not really trying to entertain the audience in any way. Which I don't know if I buy that argument, but Herschell Gordon-Lewis is kind of an interesting guy. And it's funny too, because Joe Bob Briggs writes for Lou Rockwell.com, which is about as anti-communist as you can get. I don't even think the director of this movie realizes what kind of politics Joe Bob Briggs subscribes to. Otherwise, he wouldn't even be in this movie. Granted, he only talks about B movies and horror B movies, I should say, and he talks about the 3 common mistakes that independent horror filmmakers make. So that was kind of interesting and intriguing. He said it's either a zombie flick or the actors or the director's friends, or it's a lesbian vampire flick, which it was actually. And some people got mad at the metal guitar dude in Las Vegas because on the one hand he said he hates Steven Spielberg, on the other hand he says he likes Stanley Kubrick. I don't see any problem with that, because I mean, Stanley Kubrick, it was like an independent filmmaker with a lot of money. And the only difference is that he worked for a major studio, which, I mean, Lloyd Kaufman goes into his diatribe about how you're a slave and you can't be creative, but then the heavy metal guitar dude from Las Vegas kind of contradicted him by saying that he liked Stanley Kubrick. We're talking big buck in Stanley Kubrick movies in terms of production value. So that was kind of an interesting contradiction there, along with the Joe Bob Briggs and Che Guevara contradiction. So yeah, not a great flick. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I kind of felt ambivalent about it, if you know what I mean. I don't know who any of these directors are. like I said, I was mildly intrigued by a couple of the movies, and you can watch the trailers and the bonus features too on a couple of them. The only thing that really intrigued me was Catharsis. I'm tempted to look it up now. So it was all right, but it could have been better. I mean, I could care less about the director's political agenda or some of these wannabe filmmakers, what their agenda is, what makes them tick. That part didn't really interest me. There's one guy that does a ridiculous, like, clip art kind of cartoon movie, and I thought that was pretty lame. I don't know why he was in there. He's kind of in a dark room too. He looks really creepy. So anyways, just thought I'd get that review in on my crappy webcam on my laptop. You can see the blurry version of me. Low resolution. Anyways, I think I have a Mondo flick. Adrian's gonna be all excited. Got this in the mail from Netflix. What's it called? Yeah, here it is. Echo the Forbidden double feature. Cool, man. George Sanders is the narrator. Pretty cool. So I'll be reviewing that one next. Yeah, I got the double feature. Cool stuff. Anyways, I was kind of disappointed by this. I got it because it had Herschell Gordon-Lewis in it. And he didn't really have anything substantive to say about much. So, he just made a really brief statement, and that was about it. I don't know where the director stole that clip from. Anyways, not a great flick, so I'm not going to recommend it. I'm not going to say check it out. But it is a little bit intriguing, I have to admit. Laters.